doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Papa Powell going on the microphone. Papa Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Oh, come on, my buttons are not working again. What is up, chat? How's everyone doing? Let me just quickly try to restart this software for myself. In the meantime, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of this week, final episode of this month. It's Halloween. Spooktober has finally hit the markets. Markets giving you a big flush to the downside today. QQQ selling off about 2% or so. Let's see if my buttons are working now. Hopefully they are. QQQ selling off about a 2% or a little bit more than 2%. S&P 500 also going down. So Spooktober finally hit the market, but just at the end of Spookytober. So Halloween kind of had a little special effect, I guess you could say, on the markets overall. Some opportunities to the upside, even though the market flushed. You saw Carvana going higher. ROOT, insane move on ROOT from last night's overnight move going into today. Insane, from $40 to $118. Like, what the hell are we talking about over here? So that's not going crazy. DJT selling off to the downside big time today. So opportunities were there across the board. Upside, downside, whatever side you picked, as long as you picked the right stock, hopefully you made some money on in the direction that you were looking to take some advantage in. Nice little downside move for the bears going into November. So let's see how November sets up for the market. Do we have a sell-off, a little bit of profit taking in November, or do we have what we're seeing right now, the large cap stocks all reporting pretty decently okay. Most of them went up, but some of them pulled back. For example, Microsoft pulled back. Tesla went higher. Apple reported today after hours, so we'll talk about Apple. Amazon reported today after hours and ran all the way back to $200. Waiting to see if Bezos' sell order is still sitting at $200 or not. Or do we finally get through 200 on Amazon and manage to ramp past that level? So lots in store, lots to talk about and prepare for tomorrow. Thankfully, I'm keeping my watch list tonight. After yesterday's mistake, I'm keeping my watch list over here tonight very, very short. We're gonna only look at the stocks we care about and you know, not waste too much time, because yesterday we went all the way into what 9:20, 9:30, and into the point where internet cut us out. My internet died out last night, and I couldn't stream anymore, sadly. But hey, we actually finished all of our stocks just in time before the internet cut us out and turned the stream off for us. Hopefully that doesn't happen today. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that no internet issues come into play while we start talking about some of the names on our watch list, starting with the ones that reported after hours, such as Amazon, Apple, Intel, Assassin. I always struggle with this company's name. I'm just gonna say Team. No other names over here interest me besides those four names at the top. United States Steels, X, their ticker is X, symbol is X. Maybe could be put on the watch list, but nah, not really. I'm not interested to trade them. Fubo TV reporting tomorrow, pre-market, CVX, ExxonMobil, Wayfair, some of the names that are potentially to keep on watch as they report in the pre-market, but most likely so, the names such as Amazon, Uber, Microsoft, Coinbase, Intel, Apple are going to be our high priority names for tomorrow, along with DJT with 3 big down days back to back to back, now down 40% from the most recent high on DJT. What's going on with that stock going into the next few days? Let's find out. We got TH, Dieter, Victor, Barkey. Barkey saying, can you look at Team and Uber? Also, can you discuss TA on TNX 10-year yield and help identify any potential resistance zones for reversals? I don't think that's how it works on treasury yields and ETFs, you know? Technicals on these bigger picture stocks, bigger picture names doesn't really work that way, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe you'll find a clean support and a clean resistance, but it's you know, look at VIX for example. It's never really to the penny, or the levels are always choppy. It's not a real, you're not really trading these off of technical. So TNX, you know, using moving averages, anchored VWAPs, and so on could potentially benefit you, but these are also very season based. You know, how is hedge funds currently positioning themselves in the market? Are they positioning themselves in the market for the long side for bonds and yields, or are they positioning themselves for the bear side for the bonds and yields? There's a much bigger picture story over here when it comes to trading names like these, so I just stay away from it. They're also not just day trades, in my opinion. They're not something that you look to day trade anyways, so it's just not something that I even want to approach. I'm not a macro guy at all, so I can't give you an idea on TNX by any means, so I apologize for that right off the bat. Victor is in the house. Victor saying, hi Prad, red. What is going to happen tomorrow? Let's find out. We are going to try and find out. Nobody knows. Well, actually, you were asking TH, and TH for sure knows 100% of the time what happens in the market. We should ask TH always. But he's saying ask Prad instead. What's up, John? How are you doing? Good evening, Prad. No baseball tonight. Good. Baseball sucks. The worst sport ever. I don't know how people watch baseball. It's so boring. But I respect it. You know, if you have fun watching it, I'll respect it. But you know what? I'll take that back. I went to watch one baseball game at the newer Toronto Blue Jays arena, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. The whole time, I didn't watch baseball at all. I just hung around upstairs in the club, in the bars. It was a whole party upstairs. You pay 20 bucks to get in, and the whole upstairs of the arena is just an absolute bar. It's a circle. You get to walk around. Each part of the circle has like a little segments and their zones and so on. There's like a bar zone. There's a club zone. There's this, that. It's awesome experience. So I just went did that. Besides that, I didn't really watch the sport at all. Not really into MLB, but hey, I enjoyed my time at the arena. For 20 bucks, the amount of fun that I could have for 20 bucks, that was amazing. Shout out to MLB for going broke, because that experience should have been a lot more expensive. That experience should have been a lot more expensive than 20 bucks. MLB going broke, dude. Alright, Amazon. Let's start with the top of the list. AMZN. They reported earnings. Did you actually break the 200 barrier? Not breaking the 200 barrier is very upsetting for me. I guess this is a pretty decent move for a large cap. It's not a small cap, right? This is a large cap. That being said, Tesla is a large cap. Tesla moves, however, 20%? Back-to-back days of 20% moves almost on Tesla that came into play after its earnings moves. So I guess expecting that is ridiculous. Right now, a 6%, 7% move to the upside on Amazon off of its earnings. Still under the all-time high, which we know for a fact that Bezos was selling into these levels. So watching how the stock reacts in the pre-market into Amazon, watching how Amazon reacts into 200 and really have some issues over there, or blast off through there. If we get a chance to play long above 200 on Amazon, I think there could be a real big blast off potential to the upside. So for sure, watching this bad boy. Are you dressed up as a failed trader for Halloween? Oh shit, never mind. I just saw you aren't dressed up. Wow, Alpha Exchange, go fuck yourself. I don't celebrate Halloween. I'm not fucking 12 years old, dude. What the hell? I'm not 12 years old. But failed trader is what I'm dressed up as. Ha ha ha. Good one. Players can drink, eat nachos, do coke, and chew tobacco during the game. I remember seeing a post on Instagram, the Instagram Reels, about a player who was high on acid while pitching a shutout in MLB. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Shout out to him for doing that. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, back in the day, they were doing steroids and they were just hitting home runs after home runs, which I guess could have been a lot of fun to watch. But now that they can't do that anymore, wink wink nudge nudge, it hasn't been that fun to watch, I guess. They also introduced a shot clock or is it ball clock? Introduced the ball clock on MLB, which is good, making the game way more fast paced. That's good. That was amazing. It was on LSD. Doc Ellis against the PHG Pirates. PHG Pirates. What was that? Pittsburgh Pirates? PHG? HG. It can't be Pittsburgh. Can't be Pittsburgh. Can't do it in basketball, only weed. Football either. That's fair. Pittsburgh. Okay, yeah, I thought so, right? It's gotta be Pittsburgh. Amazon making that move towards the all-time high. Let's see if we can start playing with that level. Let's actually go read the report here on the bad boy. Let's bring up our good friends Benzinga. Check out the Amazon's report if you're interested in looking at this amazing software, Benzinga. I use it every single day in the morning. I'm listening to the Benzinga squawk as the person's calling out stocks as they're moving around throughout the day. I'm also looking at the news on as it comes out right off the bat. So Benzinga helps me with that side, but you can also use it for a bunch of other tools such as charting, scanning, alerts, signals, all kinds of extra fun stuff. You can get heat maps, calendars like earnings calendar, economic calendar. So this could basically be your all-in-one tool in a way for all things trading. So check out the link below in the description. Thank you for Benzinga for sponsoring the earnings segment every single day. Amazon reporting with their earnings. Let's continue reading with the report here. Up 11% on revenue, beat the estimates. Third quarter earnings per share $1.43, beating estimates of $1.14. Third quarter was as follows: North America up 9% over year, international up 12% year over year. AWS, basically that runs the world. Who runs the world? AWS. Who runs the world? AWS. AWS now up 19% year over year. Shout out to you guys on that side. Operating income in the third quarter up 11.2 billion in the last year's third quarter. Okay. Up from 11.2, so they made 17.4, up from 11.2. AWS led the way on the operating income with 10.4, up from 7 billion. Okay, operating income was 5.7 and 1.3 billion in North America and international segments respectively, both up year over year basis. Amazon highlighted strengths in the streaming segment with The Lord of the Rings. Garbage show if you ask me. I did not have fun in season 1. I did not watch season 2. I might watch season 2, but I did not watch season 2. September 26th, Thursday Night Football. Matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants had over 17 million viewers. Isn't Netflix also having a football match? I think that's on Christmas night, right? And also we have Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson coming up very soon on Netflix. So let's see how those numbers come out for those streaming giants over there. Obviously, Amazon has been competing with them with Amazon Prime for quite some time. Guidance from the company for the company calls for the fourth quarter net sales came to a range of 181.5 billion to up 7 to 11% year over year. The company expects operating income in the range of 16 to 20 billion in the fourth quarter. Okay, Prime deals, blah 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 blah. NFL Black Friday, blah 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 blah. Amazon will share more details on the new cloud infrastructure and AI capabilities at Re-Event, which takes place the week after Thanksgiving. Whenever that is. Someone educate me when Thanksgiving is. So the week after Thanksgiving, we got an AI cloud infrastructure event coming from our good friends at Amazon. So banger report showing growth 11% year over year. AWS is growing. You would think that AWS would start stalling out a bit and not really grow, as some of the competitors have been out there for quite some time in the cloud infrastructure, providing cloud computing for websites, for what companies and so on. But still, AWS, one of the biggest ones out there. I wonder, if you just take out a couple AWS servers, if you're a hacker and you want to be a menace to the world, if you just wipe out a couple AWS servers somehow, how many websites are you really killing in the world? How many websites are you wiping out by doing that, All right. So right now, obviously, Amazon into almost $200. I think we will play into 200 to 201 very easily. But last time we were here, we know for a fact that Jeff Bezos had a sell order, a program running that was taking profits, selling shares into $200 and $201. Now, not saying that he is going to continue selling into this price, or maybe he's even done selling. We don't know. So the only thing we do know is that he was selling here previously. So if the stock is struggling, even with a good report like this, struggling to get above 200 and stay above 200 tomorrow, there could be a good retracement short back down. But if we stay above 200, which is what I'm expecting to play out, I think Amazon is a high priority name tomorrow. An 8+ setup, breaking out through all-time high, a level that it has struggled through for a really long time. This is basically $2,000 ever since this 10:1, 20:1 split. Never mind, that's $4,000 at that point, right? So 200 times 20 is that 4, whatever the price is. So Amazon getting into the beautiful ranges over here of all-time high. Let's break out, baby. Let's continue going. However, another tech giant reporting and not looking as good. Wait, I didn't put in the anchored VWAP for earnings. Anchored VWAP here. Let me throw that one here real quick. Okay. Apple reporting earnings and flushing to the downside as expected, because we've been seeing a trend in the world. We've been seeing a very obvious trend in the world, even in public transit when heading into the office, on the subways over to work, on the subways back home. I'm not seeing as many Apple mobile devices as I used to. Very clear trend playing out if you just pay a little bit of attention. So numbers of Apple sales potentially going down. Let's see if the numbers are actually playing out that way. Apple reported 94.9 billion, beating estimates by 94.56 billion. Fourth quarter EPS of 1.64, beating estimates of 1.6. Beat but barely beating. Revenue came up by 6% year over year. So beating revenue, they're growing by 6% year over year. Product revenue came in at 69.96. Okay, 69.96 billion product revenue. Okay, up from 67.18 billion year over year. Services revenue totaled at 24.97 billion, up from 22.31 billion year over year. Here's a breakdown of the product sales by category. 46.22 versus 43.8, so actually growing a little bit on iPhones. But I'm pretty sure iPhone 16 is not baked into this. Mac 7.74 versus 7.61. iPad 6.95 versus 6.44. Wearable, home, and accessories 9.04 versus 9.32. So home is the only category that's not growing in the revenue aspect, but every other has kind of been growing, but China not looking so good, right? Is that the story? American sales totaled at 41.66 billion in the quarter. Europe sales came in at 24.92. Greater China sales were 15.03. Japan sales at 5.93. Asia Pacific at 7.38. Apple noted its active installed base of devices reached a new all-time high across products and geographic segments. During the quarter, we are excited. No guidance, obviously. Yeah, Apple did not provide guidance. Let me scroll down a little bit and show you guys. Apple did not provide guidance in the fourth quarter earnings release. They never provide guidance anyway, so I'm not surprised by that. Apple shares were approximately up by 17.5%. No, they're not. No, they're not. Did you really say 17.5%? Oh, year to date. Okay. I was gonna say, like, where the hell did you see 17.5% at the time of the report? Year to date is what they said. The stock, however, down 0.91% at the time of the report. Indeed, flushing to the downside. Not so bullish, in my opinion. Only growing 6% on Apple. The tech giant is not so loved as much as it used to be. So if I'm looking for the shorts on the market because the market's pretty weak, Apple might be my weapon of choice. If the market's strong, because today was a pretty weak day on the market, tomorrow Free Fall Friday doesn't really set up. Maybe we have a free climb Friday instead. Market wants to have a relief rally instead and go back up. In that case, you know, Amazon long seems like a no-brainer opportunity to keep an eye on. So depends on which way the market moves. I'm gonna focus on the name in that direction more so. Intel reported earnings, and that 2150 to 22 support area, people who were buying off of that area, very, very happy, because you got a nice bullish pop off the report, but looks like we actually sold back down after that. A little bit of a sad move after reporting. Well, it seems to be a red report. They missed on EPS. They beat on revenue. Let's quickly go check out what Intel's report did. So Intel actually pushing right back to the south side. Well, I guess I shouldn't say south side. They're still up on the after hour move over here, but they're holding under the earnings anchored VWAP. So not really as bullish of a after hour move over here. We've seen more bullish after hour moves than this one. So let's go find the report really quick. EPS loss of 46 cents per share. Against an estimates of loss of 2 cents per share. That's a big miss. Yeah, that's a big miss. Why the fuck did we go up? Better than expected Q3 earnings and announced its approved capital reduction initiatives. What? So what are these initiatives? What are you gonna do to reduce costs? Basically fire people. You're just gonna fire people under restructuring bullshit. And oh wow, yeah, I don't know about a long on Intel. You know, this might just be people taking profits. All the bag holders might just be dumping their position as it pops up. I'm not sure if this is a bullish move at all. Intel, I mean, yeah, it did get a pop up, but nah, that report sucks. That report sucks. It's crazy how 80% of the world's I'm watching a YouTube video over here about Diddy. This is part 2. There's 3 parts. This is usually what I do when I'm creating thumbnails and creating a watch list and so on for you guys. Anyways, you know, 80% of the people have an Intel chip into their computer. 80% of computers. Actually, it's if you go into a public workplace and they have these old ass computers, the chance are all of those computers use an Intel chip. So it's crazy how one of the biggest, oldest chip makers in the world is struggling like this. It's struggling like this. It's crazy. You're fired. Merry Christmas from Intel. Yeah, basically what's happening. Merry Christmas from Intel. By the way, you're fired. Don't come in from Monday. Wow. I mean, crazy, man. Crazy. Intel is just one big painful saga. I guess as long as it holds above 2150 on any pullback, you can look long. The stock actually gapped higher, so we're kind of looking at pullbacks into these little peaks over here for a possible long. I might not even make a decision on the stock unless it's at 2450, 2450, 2460. So I might not even make a decision on this name at all unless we're into those higher levels. Either show me a resistance off that 2460 or show me that you can hold above 2460 for some sort of a breakthrough long opportunity. I personally don't think that report was that bullish. The after hour pop was right into that 2460 area, 2460, 2470 area. What was today's high in the after hours? 24.85. So I'm just gonna say $25. Okay, Intel into 25. If you find some rejections over there, I think there could be a short play, but I don't expect Intel to get higher than 25. But if it does and holds above 25 very cleanly, at least for 15 to 30 minutes above 25, then we can think about a potential long on Intel. But with how that report played out, that pop seems very bullshit to me. Let's go take a look at Team with the beautiful consolidation right before earnings report. This is wonderful because usually you'll see a breakout of these levels and an extension either to the downside or to the upside. So expecting a breakout to the upside off the report. Beautiful, exactly as expected. Nice little breakout to the upside. Team now playing into almost $200 area. Is it 220? Wow, okay, higher than 200, playing into 220 or so. That's right here. Oh, look at that. Surprise, surprise. Right? Just pull back into the history and you will find some levels to always play with. Bang. Okay. Now that's a pretty easy resistance area that the stock has reclaimed, right? If you just zoom back on the daily chart, go back into the previous resistances where the stock has bounced off of to the upside, where the stock has rejected from. This whole area could be looked as a triple top. I mean, this is a $200 position with very little volume, so never really to the point prices. No matter how liquid and how small a stock price is, it's never to the price. It's always a range. So we have a beautiful range right now that we spotted, or I spotted, and I think that the stock reclaiming that resistance area and playing above it at the moment is a pretty bullish indication. I think mainly looking for dips on any buying opportunity on any dips. We have the earnings anchored VWAP, and we have multiple levels below it that I potentially will be watching on team. I'm not sure where the long will set up from, but I'll be closely watching to see if we can get us along somewhere into 210. It's this earnings anchored VWAP is $217. I'm gonna say 215 honestly might be the earnings anchored VWAP. So if the stock does dip into 215 and show me some buying at 215, I'll be more than happy to look for the long over there. But you don't want to be taking too many shots on a name like this, because you'll just with the spread, with how whippy it might be, you might get blown out. So you want to be very careful. It's got a $5 ATR normally. Tomorrow we could see a $10-15 intraday move from top to bottom, so it's going to be a mover for sure in my opinion. We might have some fun with this name tomorrow, but just be patient. Just be patient. See how the dips get bought up. Hopefully the stock just doesn't run to the north side in the pre-market, at which point I might have to flip my idea to look for a short instead on a capitulation candle to the upside short, or something like that. So we'll see what happens on team going into the pre-market, but this one has my interest for sure. Without doubt, high priority name, beautiful move in the after hours. We have a daily chart breakout also. So the daily chart breakout behind it, taking into a previous resistance from 2024. All things are lining up for a potential good day trade opportunity on this position. Uber, big down move on Uber today. My goodness, Uber got slammed down. I didn't even read the report. Because I guess they reported in pre-market, right? I didn't really have time to read the report. I was too busy, drooling over the opportunity DJT was giving me. As long as DJT was at $44, I was so excited for that short into 44. And guess who smacked that short today from 44 all the way into $39? And then I took a nice little long. I took a little bit of a beating into 35, but then I scalped a quick little long into 36.50, $1.50, whatever. But that doesn't really make up for the amount of beating I took over here. So I actually gave back some money into the lows, but caught a beautiful short from 44 all the way into $39 on DJT today. So with the opportunity that stock was giving me, I did not even look to see how Uber set up. So I'm just going to quickly go check out how Uber reported today. Uber reported in pre-market, 11.2 billion, beating estimates of 10 by 2%. This is a 20% increase over sales from the same period last year. That's pretty good. 20% increase on sales from same period last year is amazing. So why did you guys flush down? Revenue from mobility grew 26%, delivery 18%, freight 2%, gross bookings grew 16%, mobility gross bookings 17%, delivery gross bookings 16%, freight 2%, trips 17%, monthly active platform consumers reached up by 13%. Okay, margins up 55% year over year, up 4%, up 3.1%. What else? CEO will continue growing, blah 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 blah. Outlook, that's important, 42.75 billion. to 44.25 billion versus consensus of 43.75 billion. EBITDA of 1.78 to 1.8 billion versus 1.84 billion. Outlook not like a crazy good outlook, but within the range overall. But with all things growing across the board, the stock still took a little bit of a beating, sadly. I guess not a little, a lot of a beating today, down 9.29%, at one point even triggering SSR by going down more than 10%. So tomorrow it will be on SSR. Not saying that this stock is going to sell off tomorrow too, but if it does, maybe there is a short. I think there's going to be a long setting up instead. I did not expect the stock to go under 70 and stay under 70, and frankly it didn't. It only went down to 69.87, and then it gave you a double bottom into 70 and bounced right back up to the north side up to $72. You could have had that the last power hour move from 2 o'clock. I guess not power hour, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. The stock took nice 2 hours to get up to a $2 high, giving you a long opportunity, at which point it closed into 72 bucks. I think a buying opportunity back into today's low tomorrow could be something to keep an eye on. But with the amount of weakness this position had, it was just a slow, steady trickle down all day. When you see a moving average that steady all the way from the open, that's a sell program. That's somebody saying, I'm making a decision and I'm selling how much ever shares I need to at a fixed interval. So that way I don't affect the stock by too much, because they are providing constant liquidity. You can see how the moving average on the stock going into a lunchtime never actually decreased by a lot on Uber, whereas if you go to any normal position on any day, you go to any position on any day, the volume actually starts to decrease going into lunchtime, gets below the moving average, and then starts to get back above the moving average. You pick any name you want, this will be the trend. Okay, but Uber, you can see how it just basically stayed above the volume moving average. So somebody said, I have to make a decision and I'm doing it today. I need to sell X amount of shares and I'm doing it, period. So they just kept hammering it, and very systematic trading. So if by any chance the seller needs to do this again tomorrow, you might want to be careful right at the anchored VWAP from this whole move from earnings. So if the earnings anchored VWAP starts seeing selling again, and yesterday's anchored VWAP or today's anchored VWAP seeing selling again, you might want to be a little careful for Uber for the long side. But as long as Uber, in my opinion, holds above 70, I'll continue looking for the long. But logically, the stock might have a lot more weakness that we don't know because of how systematic this was. Hopefully that seller is done. And we can ride this position back up to the north side. Pretty bullish on that report. Palantir was another name that got sold off today. Absolutely took a beating to the downside without any report. Just gapping down, sold off. Another one that took a beating, another one that bite the dust. Not as systematic as the stock we just looked at, as Uber, but still pretty much forced all the way to the downside. Let's go back on track for EL, which is the next stock that is on board. This one reported earnings and got absolutely smoked, down 20% tonight. A little bit of a bounce after being 20%. A little bit of a bounce, and still after that bounce, they're down 20% on this position. Wow, that's insane. But a beautiful bounce nevertheless, right off of 63.36. A monster bounce on EL. Looks like they missed on revenue. They beat on EPS. Didn't really read the report, kind of in the same state as Uber. Didn't read the report at all. Not sure what how bad the report was, but just off of the chart, just off of technical levels, I'm not expecting the stock to get above today's high. Today's high around 72.60. I think there could be some sort of a short opportunity on a pop into 72.60. You can see how the 200-day moving average is also right into that level, into 74 actually is where the 200-day moving average is. Today's high is into 72.60, so anywhere into that range over there. Potentially looking to see if we can find some short opportunities on EL. Big move down today. Remember, anytime a stock goes down more than 10%, it triggers SSR. So this one will be on SSR tomorrow also. SSR lasts for 2 days. 2 days. Microsoft, as I mentioned yesterday night, no trade as a day trade for me. And I might have, honestly made the right call. Just back and forth chop. Yeah, it flushed off the open, but then it just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's like, wow, I don't care. Boring. The report wasn't that bad. The report wasn't that good. Same thing with Meta. Meta, however, it has a big ATR naturally. So looking for a play on Meta doesn't hurt compared to looking for a play on Microsoft. I guess Microsoft also has a decent ATR. It's got like an $8 ATR, but Meta's got a $13 ATR. A little bit more juicy. So Meta did give you some play. Meta also report wasn't bad. I just don't think, these stocks looking short on them made any sense compared to looking short on, let's say, Coinbase, on DJT, or looking for plays on SMCI. I think those had a way higher EV, a better guarantee for you to make profits on the day instead of focusing on Microsoft or Meta. And I think that story continues going into tomorrow. So not really caring about Microsoft or Meta tomorrow. I think Apple and Amazon. Apple, honestly, I don't even care about Apple, but Amazon going into 200 has a lot of importance to me. A lot of importance to me. So all eyes on Amazon, and then the rest of the eyes are gonna get diverted over to this little poor soul, Coinbase, getting absolutely slaughterfest to the downside, going right back into a previous low over here of $178.27. Looks like we almost tickled that price today. We were only shy by 60-ish pennies or so from that October 14th low on Coinbase. Now, this is a pretty big move on Coinbase. If you guys remember yesterday, I said 205. It's basically under over 205. I wish I was focusing on Coinbase right off the open. I was focusing on DJT more. But boy, oh boy, that under over 205 gave you the best short probably of the day. Just the all-day smackdown, all-day beating, all-day whooping on Coinbase over here, all the way back down. Whereas MicroStrategy, it's partner in crime, maybe not partner in crime. I don't understand how MicroStrategy makes revenue. How is their revenue even calculated? And apparently they're doing 100% of its float dilution. MicroStrategy, if this is true, if they are doing 100% float dilution, then whoever buys MicroStrategy shares, I'm sorry, but you are crazy. Why don't you just take that money that you buy MicroStrategy shares with and just go buy Bitcoin yourself? Just go buy Bitcoin yourself with that very same money. Are you telling me that you can't time Bitcoin better than MicroStrategy when it comes to buying Bitcoin with your own money? You are basically opening up dilution on your own and getting diluted to smithereens. No, I'm not watching the stupid earnings call. This company is stupid if you ask me. I'm never going to put my money in it. It doesn't make sense. How do you calculate revenue for a company that doesn't sell anything to begin with? And second, if they're doing dilution, you guys are just getting robbed blind by big boy Michael Saylor. You guys are just getting robbed blind by big boy Michael Saylor. This guy's sitting on a yacht eating pizza while you're working 9 to 12 and you know, trying to scalp stocks. Just know what you're putting your money into. I don't understand this company. I won't try to. I don't care about it. All I care is about the day trade. Was looking for the short on MicroStrategy, but boy oh boy did it just chop around all day. Very choppy all day, back and forth, back and forth. I stayed away from it. Coinbase was a beautiful short though. Boy oh boy, I wish I did not ignore Coinbase today. Coinbase earnings anchored VWAP, today's VWAP, whatever, same thing. You can basically look anywhere from 190 all the way from 190 to last month's high 192.50 as a resistance area. I would expect Coinbase to not get above 190 to 192.50 tomorrow at all, and if it does, there is another level above it into 194.50 to 195. So watching these two areas for rejection on Coinbase. They had a pretty bad earnings report, so obviously looking to see for short opportunities on pops. This is a high priority trade tomorrow without a doubt. Very high priority name tomorrow. Looking for a pop to get short into and enjoy a secondary ride back down into today's low. A ride from 190 back into 180. Gimme a beautiful 1 ATR move on Coinbase. MSTR, looking for the shorts. As I said, today's low was exactly yesterday's low. We do have the after hour low, which where I think the company actually belongs in, or belongs much lower. If you're diluting your own buyers like that, you belong to get destroyed. So and this run up on MicroStrategy is also insane. Obviously Bitcoin rally has helped MicroStrategy a lot with that rally. So as long as Bitcoin continue holding its gain, Bitcoin still above 70k, looking short on MicroStrategy might be a little bit of a touch and feel trade, not really something that you want to force unless there's a real clean pattern. But if backside starts to open up on MSTR, which is basically a change in characteristics, if we start seeing previous day's low breaking and us actually getting below the 9 SMA on the daily chart, that's a change of characteristics. So let's see if previous day's low, what is previous day's low? Today's low 237. If MicroStrategy can start getting selling under 237, I think we have an easy move into 215 at the very least, which is the after hour low from yesterday from the earnings report. So watching this one pretty closely for the short side only. Don't give a shit about a long on this one at all. Hood got smoked. I said 25 under over. Hood did not succeed to hold above 25. It gave you a short opportunity, but hey, there were so many opportunities today. I think I'm also not interested for Hood tomorrow. It's just something that's on my watch list. I should not even have put it on there. Let's go to the next one. Carvana. Monster move on Carvana, 20% up, actually going to a line that we put in yesterday. Surprise. Didn't I remove this line? Did that line not get deleted? Somehow we are right back into that very same line. Wow, that's crazy. I thought I deleted that line though, because that line was not really valid anymore. I guess it's valid now. I'll just delete it and I'll just put it in right here for today. I think I have today's line already auto plotted, so I don't really need it. Carvana with a monster breakout, ladies and gentlemen. We saw the earnings move, gapped up. So now basically today's high, today's low, today's VWAP will be the main levels to keep an eye on. It's going to probably move a little bit slower than it moved today. It was quite slow today. Only 13 million shares brought into the position, a little illiquid, a little spready. So Carvana was moving around, but very slowly. I was expecting a lot more volatility on this name. So tomorrow, hopefully, it stays equally slow or a little bit slower. That way we can be nice and passive. Look for the bids to slip into on the lows. Look for the offers to slip into on the rips, and take some profits on the rips, or get short on the rips if the 260 area is failing on Carvana, which is around today's high. If we get a pop into 259, 260 and fail, could be a potential short opportunity over there. But keep in mind that stock does have a short flow anywhere from 15 to 30%, so it could go absolutely crazy. Starbucks had a pretty bad report if I remember accurately, or bad enough of a report to look short, but overall the move is looking to get ready for a blast off over here. So obviously you want to have an alert into $99.50 in case Starbucks does push into this level. There could be a monster breakout past 99.50/100 into the north side, even though the report wasn't that bullish. And if we do get a fail break of Starbucks past that level, there could be a good short back through that level on Starbucks. Here is Eli Lilly, nice little inside day, rejecting kinda around yesterday's high, holding above the 200-day moving average on the daily chart, but this is not really a stock that I want to keep on watch as a day trade. There's going to be better opportunities. We already have some opportunities planned out. I don't think Eli Lilly is the one that you want to be focusing for a day trade. AMD still breaking down the SMCI weakness, Nvidia weakness. ARM also went down a bit today, so the overall semiconductor sector cracking a bit lower, 4% down on the semiconductor sector, taking all of them back to the lower side. TSM closing the gap, Micron moving back down and closing its or testing its bottom again. Holy drawings, Batman. Let's get rid of that. So Micron, I want to put Micron on my watch over here. Let's put Micron real quick. Micron MU $99, so $99 on watch. Either it holds 99 as it has been, or it breaks 99 and moves back down with the weakness behind the semiconductor sector, or Micron stays above 99 and gives you a beautiful long back to the upside as the semiconductor sector has a little bit of a relief behind it, However, when it comes to AMD, I'm not really interested to look for a day trade in this one. I never make irrational decisions when I day trade this, because I have too much of sentimental love for AMD, so I just try not to day trade it. For those of you who are looking to day trade it, this is a very clear break of trend. Trend is breaking. We are now moving to the downside. Potential pop-ups on this trend. You can look for a short. Look short anywhere from today's high into this trend line, I would say. So 148.50 to 150. If that area, if that zone shows you rejections, you can continue looking short. And if we do break below today's low on AMD with more weakness in the sector, potentially more downside is coming into the stock, as we are under the 200-day moving average on the daily, and breaking below a solid trend line over here. Also, sadly, the report for AMD wasn't that bearish, so I just don't understand why there is no love. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Google getting ready to close the gap. I guess you could say it has closed the gap. Not really, but I guess technically it has right here. Not really, but it has, it hasn't. Kinda yes and kinda no. So 170, let's see if Google can pull back into 170 and find some buying into that area. If Google does not hold above 170, I think it's a no-brainer short. Potentially market is bearish enough to also look for that short. Another reason to look for that short actually is the ChatGPT search. Is the ChatGPT search. So if you go to ChatGPT, here's a quick little video about ChatGPT search. Basically a better way to search the web these days. Help me plan a long road trip to Amalfi Coast, and not only do you get pictures, you also get a beautiful itinerary. You get a plan where to go to, accommodations, planes, bookings, dining, sleeping, everything planned out. You know, just a simple type of what can I not miss? What's the weather like? You're getting all kinds of information with just fingertips, with the help of a Google type of search. It's not really Google, it's OpenAI, and it's Microsoft, but you know, the whole idea is competition to Google. So if Google doesn't quick enough get to this level of AI capability in their own search engine, they're going to struggle a little bit very soon. So Google over here potentially getting below 170 after this new news that came out. I'm not sure if the news came out during market hours or if it came out after market hours, but looking for 170 to not really have some love. If 170 has love, then it's no-brainer long. If 170 doesn't have any love, then there's a no-brainer short through 170 in my opinion. Reddit, another big update. I said 120 possible failure or 125. 120 did not have failure, but 125 just shy of 125 we did fail on Reddit. Another pretty good bullish day. We'd had like a 5% to 3% upside move today on Reddit. It was trying to go higher. Day 2 move, we basically bounced off of yesterday's close off of 116. We bounced off of 116, double bottomed off of 116 and bounced off of it, looking to see if this 116 area, which is also earnings day anchored VWAP, potentially gives us another long opportunity to ride the stock back into today's high of 120 to 123.50, 124 area or so. So watching 116, was it 116? Yeah, 116 as a potential dip buy opportunity on Reddit. Root was a monster move. I mean, oh my goodness. Oh wow, this was also a bouncy ball pattern. Fuck. I mean, this was a beautiful bouncy ball pattern. Right there. Boom, boom. Wow. What a move. So basically started the move from what, $40, let's just say 40 bucks. And went to a high of $118 today. A monster move. Here's the earnings anchored VWAP, and you can notice how if you draw a flat line from this earnings anchored VWAP, that's exactly where the stock bounced off of. So potentially a long opportunity right off of this earnings anchored VWAP tomorrow. Granted, the overall anchored VWAP, including earnings, including pre-market, including the whole day today, that anchored VWAP comes in around $90.37 on the 5-minute chart, but the static, not the dynamic, is that the right way to describe it? The static, the one that stays stationary anchored VWAP for earnings only, that one's at $63 or so. So the fact that the stock pushed right into that level and bounced off of that level sharply going into the close and closing around $68 after bouncing off of 63 is pretty indicative in my opinion that there could be some sort of a buyer into this level from 63 to $60. So I'll be watching Root with the very close magnifying glass. If we can bounce off of 60 tomorrow, $63 tomorrow, I think the stock has another big run up right back up to the north side. Today up 68%. Wow, we were at one point we were up what, like fucking 200%. Insane. This is a insurance company. Their float's not that high, so I guess that's part of the reason why the stock got absolutely slammed to the upside. ROOT. Floats 9 million, short floats 20 million. So obviously a lot of squeeze, a lot of short float squeeze happening today. Then some shorts loaded up today, expecting probably the stock to go all the way back to the downside. The earnings report apparently was good. They're getting more financing or something, if I remember accurately. Overall, I only care about price action. It's either under over 63 to 60. You're either above 60 or you're below 60, and it's as simple as that for me. And then let's keep an eye on this little pop area over here, which is where today's high was. Holy shit, I scared myself for no reason. I thought someone was here over the side of me, but it was actually my own face in my camera that I looked at, and it wasn't like, it was scary. It's scary. Okay, now I don't know how you guys look at me every single day. It's wild. I don't know how you guys watch this face. It's scary. Okay, holy shit, I just actually scared myself. My heart rate's going. Whew. My heart rate's going rampant right now. Okay, so Root, very interested, 81.50 to the upside, and then above 81.50. Your guess is as good as mine. Obviously, today's VWAP at $90. $90. Piton, do I even care about Piton? You know what? I'll care about Peloton if it goes to $10. If not, I don't really give a schnitzel about Peloton going up 20%, 30% to the upside. If it goes to $10, then I can look for that parabolic short. Go up higher. The higher you go, Peloton, the better. SMCI getting absolutely slammed back down. But right now, SMCI's PE, guys, is so low. This is you know, by the company territory, 6 PE. This is a pretty legitimate company. Granted, they have had some illegitimate activity, some fraudulent activity when it comes to their accounting and so on. I don't think this company goes to 0. They are selling a lot, and they're selling a lot to Nvidia. They're selling a lot to XAI and a lot of other companies. So they are selling, but the problem is they might also be selling to themselves. They could be selling to a shelf company and you know, stuffing their books this way by inflating their selling numbers by selling it to themselves and you know, just keep on cooking their books. So nobody knows what's going on over here for a company that's growing 100%. SMCI is at $29. Previously at $1,000, obviously. Stock split had ended up at $100, and then ever since then, accounting fraud, short report, DOJ probe, Ernest & Young signed up, and then they resigned and they said, nope, there's too much shady shit happening here. We don't want to touch this hot dog shit. You know, so they stepped out of it. So a lot of people backing out, but this range over here is basically you know, $200 range where the stock has had a lot of buyers at. So I'm expecting some buyers to show up into these $200 range for SMCI. I personally even want to invest some SMCI shares at these prices because this stock could easily go back into $100. Maybe throw in $1,000 at SMCI into these ranges. Slowly dollar cost average on the dips. The lower it goes, buy some dips, or it actually has an earnings report in 5 days. So if earnings report actually gets reported in 5 days and that report comes out amazing, the stock could easily go back into $50. Easily go back into $50 from 30 to 50. So it is such a big mind fuck at the moment that's going on. You know, you can play options on this name, you can buy shares on this name going into this play. This is a big play, and this play is also happening right as we go into election. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, a little bit past election, but into the election week. So pretty crazy that SMCI is having this type of a big trade opportunity. You can literally you know, 300%, 200% your money on a trade like this. If you have the balls to go big, then you can really bank big time on a trade like this. I don't have the balls to go big on a trade like this because I personally don't believe in the company. If they've shown fraudulent activity before, if you fooled me once, I'm not gonna let you fool me again. You know, so they have done fraudulent activity before. I'm not going to let them fool me and actually show me that they're a fraud again and then lose money on it. Not that I've lost money on it before, I just don't want to bet on a fraudster. So lots of questions over here. Potentially you could buy options for 2 weeks out for a move into $50, $60, and if the stock actually reports well, you could bank on those options calls, sell them back, you know, right before the earnings or at earnings day, and then bank on that. So I bet you a lot of people are thinking about buying SMCI right now, and because of that, looking short into these levels on SMCI is a little hard. SMCI was actually a perfect reverse bouncy ball setup. For those of you who don't know what a bouncy ball setup is, let me quickly bring in where is that tweet. Bring in this tweet and show you guys the bouncy ball setup. So this is the bouncy ball setup. Shout out to the Lance, the one Lance B. This is apparently his setup. The short bear. This is one of the best traders of our generation. He's younger than me, one of the best day traders of our generation, and he, even after making the amount of money that he has made, the amount of work he puts in, look at the notes that he took and you know, typed up all these notes off of a podcast. This is the type of work that you want to be putting in if you want to get better at your craft. Look how much work he put in on this tweet. So that's the amount of work you want to be putting in. This is the bouncy ball concept. So ideally a stock gaps up, runs up higher, tries to push higher, fails to, and then tries to push higher, fails to, tries to push higher, fails to. This little pop over here usually comes with a failed pop of high a day, exactly how some of these stocks set up over here. For example, SMCI, sorry, not SMCI. Yes, SMCI, goes over here, lower, high, sorry, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. But at the same time, we have a flat bottom. So higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, flat bottom. Give you an easy long to the upside into $30. And BFRI, this was another one, a very, very easy short opportunity. This was a short squeezer. I guess not really a short squeezer, but a low flow gapper. Not even a low flow gapper, but a stock in the low flow basket that was going bonkers later on in the day. Boom. Lower high, lower high, lower high, sells off, and actually sells off all the way back into $1. Gives you a 60-cent ride to the downside, whereas your risk was probably 5 cents, 10 cents at best on that short right there on BFRI. You're only risking the re-entry back through the breakout candle, so which was right here. I guess 163 is what you're risking. You can take the breakout, or you can even take the pullback and the retest, and the failure to get above 150 or 160 right there. You could have taken that retest and really only risk 2 to 3 pennies really, and get a big size short on the board and enjoy a monster ride on BFRI back to the downside. So the bouncy ball setup, it's something that I actually notice a lot, but I've never traded it. But you know, now that we have a big time trader calling out the setup, saying that it's a real thing, I'm going to be watching for it. I'm going to be watching for, especially now in this season, which is the earnings season. You're going to have a lot of stocks that have a euphoric up move and then sell back down. For example, ROOT. They have a euphoric up move off of earnings reaction, but they're not able to sustain that euphoric parabolic up move off the open. They sell off. There's still buyers off of VWAP because, you know, idiotic buyers. I used to be one of those idiotic buyers. I still am one of those idiotic buyers. I think a stock like this, when it has a reaction like this, it goes back into VWAP and it has to go back up from VWAP. It has to, because it had such a good reaction from the pre-market, from the after hours. So it has to go back up. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy VWAP and I'm gonna let the stock go back to the upside into high day where I make a shit ton of money from. Wrong. That doesn't work like that. So this stock is going to, you know, after its high, increasingly high move to the upside, big euphoric parabolic move, it sells off, jumps up from the VWAP as the idiots and the dumbasses from VWAP buy the position, and then it's, you know, sells back down. They now think, oh, I get to buy more shares, and it's bouncing again, so let me buy more shares, you know, gobble up some more size in this area, and then eventually when the stock breaks that low, all of their stops break. All of their stops get triggered, and the stock makes another big move to the downside where people are like, oh no, I'm an idiot, why did I even go long here? I could have just waited for the stock to go back to the downside and then think about the long or whatever. So then people have, you know, the slap their head type of a reaction. So this type of a setup is something that I notice a lot. Going to be watching the setup more and more on the market, especially in a season like today, the earnings season, baby. So let's see if we can get some fun over there, some fun on board on these names. That is basically the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow is also a Friday. Hopefully we do get a free fall Friday, but today was a pretty free of a fall in itself, if you ask me. So if you were short the market, shout out to you. Today was a pretty beautiful free of a fall by itself on the market, down 2.5%. Expecting another big down day tomorrow maybe is a little ridiculous. We just kind of traded sideways at last week's low over here on the QQQ, so I'm not really expecting another big move to the downside unless we get below today's low. Then we can talk about a big move to the downside, because not only are we taking out today's low, we are properly getting under last week's low and we're selling off from there. So right now, with how the market traded off today, it sold off, yes, but it just had a lot of wiggle and back and forth into last week's low. So in my opinion, we didn't really break last week's low, but nor did we successfully defend last week's low, because we have to get back above it. So right now, expecting a lot of back and forth here. Tomorrow potentially we resolute back to the upside for a little bit of a relief rally, but if we do break today's low, then that opens up a lot of room to the downside on the market. In my opinion, a lot of the large cap positions will have some issue. Tesla moved down to 250 today. That one got sold off. Did not expect Tesla to get under 255, but that one was a pretty easy trade. All you had to do was get short below 255, and that was a it didn't look back above 255 at all after getting under. That's a lie. It did look back under 255 after getting under, but you know, pretty good short over here on Tesla today, thanks to the weakness on the market. Let's see if the market is weak tomorrow too, with the help of Apple's weakness, or is Apple actually going to be strong? We also had Microsoft and Meta, which were a little weak today, so potentially why the market was weak off of that. Some numbers, some econ numbers came out today too. There are some economic numbers tomorrow also. Let's go take a quick glance at that. We have the hourly what the hell is this? Average hourly earnings, non-pharma payrolls, unemployment rate, S&P US manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing PMI numbers. I think that's about it. Anytime we see this commodity numbers, those are pretty useless in my opinion. Oh, at least I don't trade them, so I don't really care about them. But most of these names over here, ISM manufacturing, PMI numbers, non-pharma payrolls, these could potentially move the market, so you want to be careful at those times, which is 8:30, 9:45, and 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, November 1st, end of Halloween tonight. Tomorrow is also Diwali. Happy Diwali to all my Indian homies, everyone who celebrates Diwali, wherever you are, in India, outside of India. Happy Diwali. Hopefully you and your family have had a very thankful year. I think that's what Diwali is, right? Diwali is a Thanksgiving holiday, basically, in a way. It's a festival of harvest, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Sankranti is a festival of harvest, and Diwali is actually just a festival of light. And Diwali is a festival where we celebrate yeah, it's a whole different story, actually. Yeah, I'm getting it confused. The Harvest Festival might be a different one. Either ways, happy Diwali. Enjoy the Festival of Light, Festival of Fireworks. We're gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow. Sadly, I won't be able to celebrate Diwali with my family because I do have a poker night tomorrow to go to with the old office members. So I will be heading over to the old office. That's right, to the Trader TV live office, and playing some poker with the boys there, and missing out on some good food, some good family time, and some good prayers. Honestly, I'm okay with missing the prayers, but I'm not okay with missing the family time, which I will be a little sad about. But hopefully I win in poker tomorrow and I smack it in the market too. And I wish you guys the same. Kill it on the market. Put some risk management on board. Obviously, I gave you some levels. Hopefully, you have your own levels to play with. Wish you guys all the best. Happy Halloween. Happy end of October. And let's kill it in November. Only 2 months left for 2024, boys. TraderPrad out. Adios.
For tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.